Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the 143. This is Under Review coming at you live.
Episode 61. This is our March Madness special.
This is
predictions.
what we like to call the Miss K episode. Mrs. K Shirtliff out of Dallas, Texas, specially requests this episode every year as she looks to fill out her bracket. She's our number one listener. Probably our biggest fan, and she's awesome, provides us feedback on every episode. We love it. We love to see it. We love Mrs. K, and I know she's listening right now. This episode is for you, Miss K. Huge shout out. Let's get rolling, Nick. This is our picks. We're going to share some things about the bracket this year, about the teams that we like, but obviously go fill out those brackets. It is going to be a very interesting tournament this year. And we'll explain why here in a little bit. But I'm going to start you off with the stat of the week. Brought to you by our sponsor, Andrews Logistics. These are a couple of interesting stats about March Madness. Nick, did you know the average worker in America spends 6 hours a day during the tournament watching March Madness?
That's interesting. I did not know that.
6 hours a day. Did you know also with the second stat that 37% of Americans are willing to call in sick or skip work to watch March Madness? Shame on y'all. Except you got to respect it sometimes.
That is interesting.
I mean, look, don't call in sick, but you know what? Priorities. Call your boss up. Tell him, hey, I got sports to watch.
I mean, this is
March Madness is a pretty big deal.
Important time of the year.
It is. And it starts this Thursday. We're pumped. We're hyped. We're excited. So those are your stats of the week. Obviously, don't call in sick to work. That was not me saying that you need to call in sick to work to watch March Madness. But watch some March Madness while you're at work, or just take a personal day. I don't know. That's not a sick day, right?
I don't know.
I don't really know how it works, to be honest with you. We this is our job. We don't really get sick days or personal days or anything like that. But yeah, it's your stat of the week.
Your player of the week is actually a coach. Yes, Coach of the Week. The SEC Coach of the Year for 2023, Buzz Williams.
Attaboy, Buzz. Attaboy.
Which, if you don't know, he is the head coach for the Texas A&M Aggies.
Yes, he is. Whoop.
Who will be making an appearance this year in the March Madness tournament. Unfortunately, they did not make it last year. We were almost NIT.
We were kind of
right on the cusp.
We were robbed.
Right there. It could have gone either way. Literally
everyone in the nation was saying we were robbed of a spot in the tournament, and we probably would have made a nice deep run. The tournament's all about. It's kind of like, NCAA baseball. Like, you got to catch on fire at just the right moment, and A&M had, and we were playing very well, and I think we would have made a pretty deep run there, but
yeah, congratulations to Coach Buzz Williams.
Yeah, he's back this year, and honestly, led
the Aggies to second in the SEC.
He even came out last year and said how disappointed he was that we got snubbed, and he came out this year. He was ready to play. A&M's looking really, really good right now. Actually, let's roll into the bracket. Start talking about the teams that we like, because I was going to start with A&M. A&M, obviously, we're biased. We're here in College Station. We love our boys at A&M. But I would say, just looking at it objectively as well, A&M is playing really good basketball at the second half of the season right now. And that's what it's about in basketball. Even in the NBA, you just it's kind of about your momentum coming into the playoffs. And I like A&M right now. They're probably going to be in the division with Purdue as the higher seed. And basically, the tournament this year, there is no clear-cut number one dominant team over everybody else. Like, even the really good teams, you just don't know. So this is kind of one of those years where I'm guessing first round we're going to see a lot of upsets.
I mean, that's something that you're accustomed to, right? When it's March Madness time, is you really don't know, because it's a anything could happen type situation, because you have to play, your best game every single game. Like, you get one opportunity, you're one and done. So it's a thing where anything could happen, and that's where we're going to see, I think, a lot of upsets, and then hopefully some Cinderella stories.
Absolutely.
Some teams that you've never heard of or schools you never heard of.
You always want to see that one.
The underdog.
You always want to see that one.
Like we saw it last year with St. Peter's.
Yep.
I don't think anyone had ever heard of them. I know I hadn't until last year, and they had a couple upsets and made a deep run, and so it was just something cool to watch. And so I'm hoping for something similar to that this year.
That's why whatever champion you have coming out, even the Final Four, really there's no one you can really just laugh at this year. Back in the day when there were the powerhouses that were around, and you've still got some of them, like Kansas is still hanging around. They're really good this year, but like the days of it just being North Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, and Kansas are over. And it's kind of anybody's game this year, in my opinion. That's why I would love to make A&M my champion this year, but I feel like if I do that, I'm somehow jinxing A&M, and I don't want to do that. But I really like how A&M is playing this season. I know a lot of people out there agree with me. Mm-hmm. They're playing really great defensive basketball, and that's what wins you
a huge win recently versus Alabama, who was looking absolutely disgusting all year long, and
in a good way. Sorry.
Yes, absolutely disgusting, as in, like, when wicked is good, right? Okay, anyways, about a week ago, Alabama came to town. They were kind of the big dogs. We were huge underdogs in that game, and we ended up taking it to them and won. And so it's games like that kind of get my confidence level up in the quality of basketball that Texas A&M can play, because we can hang with those big top competitors, and I just hope that we can continue that throughout this March Madness bracket.
Obviously, this year the SEC showed up. We have lots of teams in it. The big teams this year that have been looking really good: Kansas, Alabama, Purdue, and Houston. They've been kind of up at the top 5 of the AP poll every week, moving around a little bit. But I can't take any of them, honestly. I'm not sure any of those are going to win it. I just don't feel it with any of them. I think your champion is going to come from more the middle of the brackets.
I think that's a solid take, because we've seen even the top-ranked teams have a decent amount of losses, and normally we're accustomed to the top. I'll say the top 3 teams having like 5 or less losses.
Normally, your 1 seeds are just absolutely dominant.
Yeah.
I think this year, though, not that they haven't been playing really well, it's just there's been so many upsets in the regular season, more than we've normally seen. Everyone's playing pretty good basketball this year. And I think that we will see a very, very big amount of upsets. So when you're doing your brackets, that first round, it's going to be tough.
Well, one thing is, I think the difference between I'll just throw out 2 numbers. Like the difference between maybe like an 8 and a 1 seed is maybe not as big as it has been the last couple years. Like the margin is a little bit closer than what we're used to seeing. And so that's why I think that, really anything could happen, right? Like we could see all the number 1 teams like lose out the first game or something, but I don't think anybody is safe at this point. And I think that it is possibly going to be a middle-of-the-pack champion this year.
Do you think it'll be a lot of experience-based? Or do you think – because, you've got, Gonzaga. They're not playing as well this year as they normally are, but they've got the experience to go deep. Or you've got a team like A&M who isn't used to being in there, but they're playing really well. Like, what do you think?
I think it's just going to be the teams that are playing really well. Obviously, we've talked about this with baseball, and then you alluded to it a little bit earlier in this episode. It's kind of about the teams that catch fire at the right time, right? And obviously teams like A&M are teams that have been playing well, have caught fire at the end of the season, and that momentum is going to carry them into the bracket. But obviously anything could happen, because Gonzaga and teams like that have been in this situation before, so they're used to all this high-pressure basketball playing. But anything could happen.
I wish we could sit up here and tell you who to pick, who to take, what upsets to look for, but honestly, March Madness has always been anybody's game. I know it's just one of those. You only get one game, so it could go either way. I know my mom has always picked off of jersey color and where she wished she could have gone to college. And she's won our bracket probably more than the rest of our family in years past. So really, whatever, you just kind of got to go with your gut and hope for the best. It's just really tough because all the games are one and dones, you know? So the better team does not always win.
Because you get 2 20-minute halves to beat one team, which kind of sounds like a lot, but when you break it down, it's really not. Because you have one chance, one shot, one opportunity. You have to play truly your best basketball because you don't know what could happen. And all these teams, like we said, you get one opportunity. So you just have to make the most of it.
I think the teams that you can be pretty confident about, just the teams that, like, at least in the first round, the teams that have been here before, Xavier, you've got like Creighton, obviously Duke, Gonzaga, Kentucky. These are just teams that are normally here. I'd feel pretty good about taking them in the first round. Kansas, they're ranked pretty high. But I think you're going to have to take a chance on a lot of the rest of them. They're not always teams that we've seen here in the tournament before, but I think it's going to be exciting. And I'm personally excited to see A&M and how far they can go. I don't know if they're going to be my champion or not, like I said before, just because I don't want to ruin it for them. I'm scared that if I pick them,
right, it'll just jinx it.
Yeah. I'm not superstitious, but that is just a fear of mine.
Just a little stitious.
A&M has been known to get really close and not make it all the way, like baseball last season. And I would love to see a championship while I am still here at Texas A&M for us to win something, a sport that I actually keep up with. Because I think we've won a couple of things that I don't really keep up with at all. But it would be so nice to see our boys go to the Final Four, bring home that trophy.
And let's be honest, as general Dallas natives, that's all encompassing. Every sport of everything. We've kind of been starved of championships, of rings, of whatever you want to call it. So it would just be nice to have something.
You put A&M and Dallas together, and we still, in me and Nick's lifetime, only have one championship, and that would be the Mavs in 2011, which we were 10. So
don't even remember it. Didn't even appreciate it.
I don't really remember it either. I do remember when the Rangers made it to the World Series. I did watch that.
A couple times, absolutely, yes.
And we don't have to talk about that right now. But that was tough. That was
another topic for another time. So,
speaking of, we will be doing a baseball episode here in the next couple of weeks with the season starting in 3 weeks. So we'll have one before then. Probably next week, I would assume.
Yes.
If not the week after that. But there will be a baseball episode coming out soon.
Well, here's we like to end our shows on Under Review. I've brought to you a quote by the Kobe Bryant. And he said, "It's the magic within each of us that gives us the potential to inspire the world." And that's the truth.
Amen, Kobe. I think y'all take what we said. Obviously, go make your picks based on what you're feeling. Don't listen to the experts. They never know what they're talking about. I mean, guys study this game like crazy. College basketball. It gets down to March Madness. Anything could happen. Like Nick said, we saw it with St. Peter's last year.
Analytics will fail you. Right, you can look at all the stats and all the this and that you want, but at the end of the day, nobody knows.
Nobody knows. So, hope you enjoyed our abbreviated spring break episode, and hope you're enjoying spring break. And if you're having to work through spring break, go fill out a bracket.
Absolutely.
And watch March Madness because it is that time of year, the time we all love. It's time to watch some college basketball. Thank y'all for tuning in this week, and we will see you next time on Under Review.